games come and go from that rotation, you'll see like, oh, Injustice, and people are playing Injustice. They don't have it next year. You'll never believe what game you've never heard of again, right? And this continues on for a lot of series of games. Capcom Fighters is like a tournament series that started for a good while. It's just about getting the players together. That's the main gist, right?
Okay. Do you like Street Fighter?
I love Street Fighter. Street Fighter is one of my games that I love watching. I would never play it, even though I played the previous two. Wouldn't play it. It's fun.
I think about Street Fighter 6, and I practically touched it a little bit, and I think I didn't like the way that the inputs worked, and I just got over it, and I went back to Guilty Gear.
Yeah, I think I played it for a bit. I also went back to Guilty Gear. That's so funny. Yeah.
I think it's like
game.
the zigzag, bro. Like, it really triggers me. There's a lot of moves in Guilty Gear that I actually avoid using just because it's like the zigzag where it's like side, down, and then corner.
You mean Shoryu input?
Is it the Shoryu input?
Yeah.
No.
Well, look.
I feel like if I had like a gamepad, you know how there's like my bad, I'm moving away from the mic. You know how there's the base, I don't know what they're called, gamepads? I think they're just gamepads, right? The gamepads where it's like the 4 buttons. I think if I had that, I would be more invested, but I tried using keyboard and I didn't like it. So I wasn't invested, man. I'm sorry.
Insane work. Outing yourself like that is crazy. No wonder you like 2XKO actually, because the inputs are simplified. You know what else?
That's not the reason I like it, but okay, bro. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Call me a shitter. You're calling me a shitter.
He is. How about you innovate your way into learning some new inputs? How about that? Sorry, that was a bad one. Going to our topic for today, Capcom Fighters is a tournament series that has been going on for a very long time. Recently, they announced that they were going to do a pay-per-view like style for this event where people will pay. It's like the same thing for like wrestling and WWE, where they'll pay for an event to watch like a broadcast, instead of the opposite of where you would just watch this on Twitch.
So the host is paying for me to watch?
The host is asking for you to pay to watch, when before it was just free. Okay. Now, from a grassroots community, which is usually what fighting game tournaments are, a lot of people were upset about it because I didn't have to pay in the past. I would love to support this event. I'm not going to pay that much. It's interesting, though, because in the past, I think a couple of videos ago, we mentioned why esports might be having a downward trend, specifically failing because not generating enough revenue and not having enough like support in that regard. This feels like a step more into that situation. Players, however, were not happy with it, thus regarding this statement that Capcom decided to provide for the event.
Okay. Before I read it, were the players going to be paid for participating in the pay-per-view?
I believe not. Like the amount that they get is the same.
Yeah, that part would be the frustrating part for me, because how is it possible that you're charging people to watch me who's playing your tournament? And I'm just thinking, brother, where's my part? I'm your entertainment. I'm your entertainer. I'm your jester, and I'm not getting paid. Come on, man.
That might be the middleman that's missing in comparison to like I mentioned, WWE, or maybe even sports,
paid, right? Yeah. Football, you're getting paid. MMA, you're getting paid, being the main event.
Right. But you only get paid here essentially for your placing, and that doesn't change if it was a pay-per-view event or not.
Yeah.
It's the same thing regardless.
It's not a flat pay with bonuses on winning, basically.
Right.
So it's not spread out for the whole player base or all the players participating, and then people at the top would get a little bit more, right? Maybe like $50, $100. But if it's the exact same tournament format where generally the top 8 get paid out, then yeah, it really doesn't make sense. It's very confusing why they would bother to do that. With that in mind, let's go on and read it.
Okay.
My bad. Cursing is bad. Guys, don't curse. Okay, here we go. It says, this is an update regarding the announcements made on September 28 about the introduction of pay-per-view live streaming for Capcom Cup 12 and Street Fighter League World Championship 2025. We would like to share the background behind this decision and provide information on future communication. Wait, how long is this? Okay. So, background of the pay-per-view decision. The decision to introduce pay-per-view live streaming for Capcom Cup 12 and Street Fighter League World Championship 2025 stems from our commitment to promoting our esports business. Why do they spell esports? Like, this is so outdated. This is like 2010, bro.
Right. Okay.
In a sustainable manner over the medium to long term. Our goal is to grow these tournaments into internationally competitive events by reinvesting in participating players and teams, our partners, and related business areas. We sincerely acknowledge the many opinions we have received from everyone and are carefully discussing the matter with parties. As a result, the coordination process is taking some time. Previously, we announced that pricing details for pay-per-view tickets would be shared in late October. We will provide this information as preparations are complete, and we kindly ask for your continued patience. Future communications going forward, we will strive to provide clearer and more accessible updates regarding Capcom esports through our official website, official social media channels, and explanations from our public relations representatives. Please note that pay-per-view ticket sales for our Street Fighter League Pro JP, which is Japan, playoffs and grand finals will begin as scheduled on November 12th. We remain committed to meeting our expectations with sincerity and appreciate your continued. They didn't say anything.
Yeah, they did it. So
I'm so confused. Wait, I just read the whole thing and I'm just thinking, wait a second, nothing. It's just an update.
The insane part about the statement that got everyone riled up was the truth. The truth is they don't care. If anything, this just delayed the price that they were going to display to the viewers to how much it was going to cost, right? However, the only thing that was addressed, if anything, was the price. We might look at it again, and then off the screen, they're like, there it is. Let's keep it that way. Anyways, guys, they like the post said, they haven't shared the price. A lot of people have speculated that it was going to be around the $60 range. Would you pay $60 to watch a 3-day event, a 3-day fighting game tournament event? Would you even watch all 3 days? Can you only buy for 1 day? There's so many questions that kind of come out now that I think about it. Maybe I should.
It's on Steam charts, but what is it? Twitch stats? Okay. Something I wanted to point out is, I don't know if you've seen the Maximilian reaction to this statement. No, not the statement, but the conversation on making a pay-per-view. Maximilian was really upset that it wasn't just like a sponsorship where they're not taking sponsors to be able to afford running these events. Generally, that's been the case for a long time now, where the event hosts are taking a lot of sponsors to be able to organize these events and get the revenue that they needed in that match, right? Or simply raising their prices on the cost to participate in the event. Those were two different ways of how they were getting revenue. Not only that, but Maximilian also pointed out that the reason they're doing this is because pay-per-view is actually being very successful in Japan. So in Japan, Street Fighter is actually being paid to watch at this very moment. On the other hand, for Americans, we just don't watch. We just don't pay to watch things. It's not a commonality. Something that I read in that post that I wasn't a big fan of is the conversation on supporting teams to participate in esports. And it made me realize when it comes to individual players in fighting games, it's very weird that we even have teams and association or orgs and association, because when you think about MMA or boxing, it's just individuals.
Right.
With support from management, like a manager or an agent for that boxer or that MMA fighter or whatever. So it's weird, right, that people want to support the orgs, but in reality, the player should really lock in and understand the business side of what it is that they're supposed to be doing. That's my opinion on it.
The way you bring up that point as well, I'm thinking it's interesting that esports is very team heavy, right? Luminosity,
I
TSM,
wouldn't
Liquid,
say
right?
team. It would be organization, right? Like
Oh,
a
okay.
company, organization heavy, right?
That's fair. Like organization heavy, where normally like in regular sports or I guess in those type of events,
Yeah,
you usually see them just one person with an agent. The agent does all the work. Hey guy, don't worry about it. I got you, right?
pretty much.
So when it comes to an organization, oh man, that's tough. One thing I do want to mention is that speaking of organizations, I could be mistaken, but I believe the Capcom Fighter tournaments are usually tournaments around the world, which you qualify for the final event with points and such, right? If
Okay.
you kept watching these events, you would have to pay for the finale. Is that something that you think is okay?
Would you? I just wouldn't pay, bro. I don't. When people tell me, admittedly, the type of consumer I am is I'm a very nickel and dime consumer.
Hmm.
So, not in the sense that once I pay for something, I have regret. I never regret my purchases, but it's more of the acknowledgement of how much I'm really going to use something or how much value I put on that thing before I purchase it.
Right.
So, the idea that, oh, you can watch this now or you can just wait for the VOD. Right now, chat, CFO versus KT is about to play. Just a heads up. So the League of Legends game that is about to happen later tonight, I'm like so ecstatic about, and I'm looking forward to staying up for it. But would I pay? No, I would literally just sleep through it and then just wake up and then just watch it. If that was the situation, right? Pay or suffer. What I think Street Fighter might just be into, it's tricky. Every company approaches their esports scene differently. League of Legends esports is 100% a loss of money, and it is done solely for marketing purposes. League of Legends understands that esports has to be exist so that people play their game and so that people spend money on their game. During Worlds, I myself went back to the game.
Dude, me
I
too.
haven't played the game.
I
I have not
played
played this game.
ARAM. How did they
I
get
have
away
not
with
played this
it?
game. For I think 6 months or 5 months, right?
Mhm.
A long ass time. Worlds comes around. Holy shit! I'm down. Let's run it. Clash. I'm down. Let's run it. So I think it's just marketing, dude. And Street Fighter. I'm not sure. Do you have any idea for MK
For
the scene or how long it goes for?
Mortal Kombat scene?
Yeah. Is it dead?
It's pretty much a dead. If anything, it's at its last limbs. If we
Yeah.
want to be generous, but it's been dying very heavily downwards, which is why you don't really hear people talk about it that much. If you do hear it, I'm so sorry, but it's the truth. I know all these fighting games, but I don't hear anything about Mortal Kombat. It's an interesting aspect. Just my 2 cents.
Mortal Kombat, from what I understand, Mortal Kombat is basically uses their esports scene for that same thing, for the engagement of trying to sell as many as possible. They realize that it's worth it. Why bother? And I think Street Fighter 6 isn't acknowledging that the esports scene should just be to sell copies of the game. And I think it's just one of those cases where it's just not necessarily doing that, or that's not their objective. Their objective is actually to profit from these events. And they're looking at their Japanese counterpart, where like, oh, well, they're making a shit ton of money. We should be making a shit ton of money doing the exact same thing. I think it's gonna fail. Flat out, I think it's gonna fail. If it succeeds, I'd be surprised. I'm gonna be honest. That's my opinion on it.
I want to go back to something you said earlier. If Capcom Fighters is a tournament everyone watches, right? It's an event that a lot of players, specifically in the Street Fighter scene, are excited to see.
Okay.
What do tournaments usually do the next day after the tournament's over? They upload the VODs right away, even sometimes the day of. They are fiends because they realize how much it is. With this tournament being a pay per view, even if they waited a week, I think players would just wait the week. I don't think people mind about that. So coming to the issue where I don't want to pay it, but if it was free, like I might tune in. And if I see it as a thumbnail on YouTube, I'll click on it. I'll watch. What a set.
Yeah.
I just I just don't see it, man. I understand though why they're trying this approach, but how much would you pay? Let's say you wanted to support this event and you didn't want to wait
$5.
the week. You'd pay $5 the most?
I think it should be the exact same way for subscriptions. I would actually just do $1 or $12 for the year kind of thing. That's what I believe would work better as a way to get people to subscribe to the idea. I wouldn't be looking for one-time payments, and I would look for some way to like buy into it. And I think something was mentioned. I'm not sure where. I don't know if it was Maximilian or someone else, but it was mentioned where you can also support the event. Oh, Dota does this, where like you can support the event by releasing skins in association to the event, so that
Okay.
way people will buy the skins to support the event. And then that would be one way that players can choose to, spend money on the game and support the event. So they say, oh, $5 version of the skin, $10 version of the skin, $15 version of the skin, $100 version of the skin, right? So that's what I think should be a better approach, by selling cosmetics inside the game so that dedicated fans to the game can already get that benefit of supporting the event and not feel very capitalistic. I think we're just in an era where everybody just feels that it's very capitalistic and people just don't want to be throwing money away.
Like, what do you think about the idea that they already do a lot of skins? Because I feel like anytime I hear Street Fighter's relevancy besides tournaments, it often becomes with, you know, downloadable content such as like, new characters or
Give me
skins,
$6. Give
right?
me $6 for a new character.
You want to, right? It's
I
pretty
think it's $6,
straightforward.
isn't it?
Yeah. Or you could get a pass and it'll be like 30 or 20 depending on the pass. It doesn't
It'll be
matter.
$1 off basically.
The issue, the solution is keep doing that. And we've come to a point where we've seen that people will buy all the characters. And I mentioned this before. I have friends who will buy a game like Street Fighter 6 if they release like Street Fighter 6 Ultimate Package and it's all the characters in the game and it's like $100, they buy it, they touch it for 20 minutes, never to see it again, right? That helps out the game when a lot of purchases are happening like that, especially from casual players, right? When it comes to the pay-per-view model, it just feels interesting because if they do it this one event, will they keep doing it for future events? Will the prices raise and such? It took a long time for people to get accustomed to the DLC characters for any fighting game, it feels.
Look, all I'm saying is the reason a lot of these games, let's talk about League. League has the biggest amount of people that watch Worlds. Why do they not do skins for, you can buy small little things now where you can support your team during the season.
Oh,
But
yeah.
why don't they do Worlds skins that provide money to the pool? The reason for that is because the orgs don't need it. What's the point of giving them an extra $1 million when really the money that they should be earning is after the event, because they gain popularity or they gain more fame from the participating in the event. So as it is, would they do that? Why would they miss out on maybe $5 million worth of profit when they could just keep it themselves? Why give them any money when it could just be theirs? That's just the basics of it. Riot just understands that. Riot being the company that owns League of Legends. My argument is that I don't think you acknowledge how much money Capcom is making from these skins, that they just don't want to give a little bit, right, to to the pot because that's it, right? You would say, oh, 10% of this is going to the pot, right? Or like 20% of the sales for this pot. Why don't they do it? Why don't
Oh,
they do
well,
it?
maybe I'm
It's a
confused
lot of money they're gonna
because
miss out on.
yeah, well, that's why maybe I'm confused. It's because if they didn't do it for characters and skins, right? Because that's the money they want to have, which is fine. I think that's fair.
They gotta pay the devs, dude. Street Fighter 7 is already in development, I bet.
Do
There's no doubt about it.
Are you not afraid of losing like a big support? Because this event is the one that everyone does watch for Street Fighter at the current moment.
Mhm.
If you lose a lot of support for your big event with this pay-per-view model, how do you recover from that?
I don't think people are necessarily okay. Let's look at this line for Street Fighter, for example. For Street Fighter 6, this line here basically is flat. Honestly, this is super, super flat. If this is the average, it's not. The game's not dying. It's just flat line, basically. It's like on a downward trend, right? But even sometimes it's even gaining because it had like a big event. So the reason I wanted to show this is because right now Street Fighter is ranked 50. The average viewers is about 6,500, but I mean, literally a long ass time ago, 2023, it was that low at one point either way as the average. So it's basically flatlined for a long time. Anyways, my point being, Street Fighter is a game that's been, what's it called? It's number 50. It's been watched a shit ton of times. The viewership is flat. I don't think one event is going to destroy the competitiveness of it because it doesn't change the fact that grassroots will always exist for fighting games like this.
Right. I guess in a similar sense, it's like when Evo doesn't support a game anymore, right? Like Smash Brothers being the common
Ooh,
one.
I think tournaments dropping a game is more cool than viewership being able to see the game, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Because honestly,
Players don't play it, no one watches it, right?
yeah. Oh, rotation. You'll see like, oh, Injustice, and people are playing Injustice. They don't have it next year. You'll never believe what game you've never heard of again, right? And this continues on for a lot of series of games. But the reason I bring up Smash Brothers is because that is a series where they continued to move on and they did their own tournaments. However, it did take a big hit because if I remember correctly, the tournaments they were doing of their own and such, you had all these huge tournaments trying to like become the big event, right? Like, what is it?
No,
Like,
Evo is just got in a lucky spot where they started before anyone, and then they're there, and everybody keeps buying. I don't know if you've seen how many times Evo's been purchased at this point. I think it's getting moved. It's being purchased by a different company. I think every 3 years, basically. Evo is basically the grandfather of fighting game tournaments. That's
mhm.
just the reality of it. It's in Las Vegas, which is the perfect placement. Everybody knows that if you want to be the best, you have to win Evo.
Yeah, that's usually a
And
fighting game player's goal. Like that is
yeah,
the holy grail,
the
if we
holy
will.
grail. Yeah. The true championship is Evo Las Vegas. Because you can win Evo Japan. You can even win the most recent one. Evo's now in France. You can win Evo France. You can win Evo Japan. But no one's going to take you absolutely serious until you win Evo Japan. Evo, my bad. Evo Las Vegas.
That's kind of a crazy thought. You could win a similar tournament with the title. Honestly, I guess that does blend into Capcom Fighters as well. Like again, like I said, I believe the tournament series is you get points for the final tournament, and they have
Yeah.
other Capcom Fighter tournaments. But there's the big one, the big boom.
Yeah. And I think it's the fun part about the way fighting game tournaments are structured is always going to be so exciting because a nobody can be somebody at these tournaments. That's the beauty of fighting games. That to me is why invitationals like the summit will always exist, but the greatest tournaments will always be ones with nobodies that are looking for Those are just gonna be it. Even the top 8 is like the same. I think Smash Ultimate, because we were Ultimate, suffers from it being the same players and other games don't have as big of an issue because they have a more varied players that are getting top 8. Smash Ultimate, I mean, I would watch it often, and it did genuinely feel like I was watching players in top 8.
Yeah.
Personally.
And it's interesting because for Smash, some people actually like the storylines of the same people competing, and I know others don't, which I can understand. In another side, I could see people not being excited for these new faces because they don't know who they are. Name familiarity like will carry Street Fighter for me. Oh, this is Daigo, Alex Valle even. I'm more likely to root for Alex than
Let's go Daigo.
for someone random. Yeah, right? Like, all those names you see, like Tokido, those are the GOATs, right?
I know.
I do want to just mention that I think it's just crazy because I'm actually very curious for how the viewership's going to be for this tournament at the end of the day.
To me, it's like, I think it's funny because I understand. Let me interpret it, right? Let's say Evo. Let's do a more irrational example. Let's say Evo you had to pay to watch.
Uh-huh.
Would people pay to watch? I would pay to watch Evo. I'll be honest.
I wouldn't.
I would pay to watch Evo. If it's 3 days, right? If I'm getting to watch all 3 days for $5, $5, I'm down.
That's also the thing you have to consider. People are thinking this is going to be 60. If Evo did it for $5, maybe I'd consider it, but I wouldn't even do it. I personally wouldn't do it.
I think you'd crack. My defense, I think Hypey would crack.
I wouldn't though.
Sunday would be like, all right, $5.
You know how I know I wouldn't though? Evo is one of the most exciting events that I get to watch per year. I haven't watched it the past 3 years. For some reason, this event's going to charge me $5 this time. I'm going to watch it. No, I'll just watch the VODs. You know why I don't watch Evo live? Because I'm just going to watch the videos on YouTube. I get to watch the matches I get to see that are important. I don't care about live watching that much anymore. I do if my friends are competing in it. But guess who's not competing in those tournaments? Not Shattuck. It's the only player I'm gonna be able to watch. Be for real. And the same thing with the Capcom tournament. I'll watch it if it's going on, but if there's a paywall, I'll just watch it on YouTube the next day if I was really that interested. That's perfectly fine with me. Again, and this is if we're assuming it's $5. Anything above $5 is so criminal. It's insane.
I think I just don't feel that Capcom acknowledges how much we are getting squeezed in the United States for watching things. So you have to pay for Netflix, you have to pay for Disney Plus, you have to pay for Hulu, you have to pay for HBO Max. I think it's HBO Max. I don't know if they changed their name. You have to pay for Apple TV. So when people think of how much they're paying to watch something, they think of those streaming services and they don't even want to pay for them. I constantly subscribe and I cancel them over and over again because there's just nothing to watch. So for you to tell me, hey, you're going to pay the same amount that you're paying for a streaming service more, if you're saying it's $60, it's going to be crazy, by the way. If I have to pay basically what I paid in full for streaming services for this, hell no. Why bother?
Not only that.
$60, yeah. $5, I'm down. If it's like something I really want to watch, I'd pay $5.
Let's talk about it's $5. Let's put that scenario because hopefully it is, right?
Yeah.
You pay $5 for this event, you can watch it. Okay. This is going around the world, the same thing. Viewership, like I want to say that it's not going to be horrible, but it will be lower. How do we feel about sponsorships and other sources looking at that number, thinking it's going to be a dying event in the future?
Ew.
Because I'm not wrong to think that's a genuine point.
That was funny. Yeah,
sponsor
like a cyclical problem where creates problem, suffers because of problem, dies because of problem.
Sponsors carry our games. At the end of the day, sponsors are the reason why some events are even as cool as they look. I argue that without the sponsors, keeping constant grassroots tournaments where a lot of players or viewers need to pay to make those events happen can end up being stressful, or you end up seeing a lot less high effort tournaments, right? If we lose those sponsors, we are taking so many steps back, is what I'm thinking. Is the event going a pay-per-view model worth those sponsors just to see? I understand that
We may still get sponsorships, or like, well, I guess it's because it's been designed that way for such a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the norm. I do think the worst part, by the way, is that if this one's pay-per-view, they have to make multiple leading events pay-per-view for you to see if it works or not. But it's kind of, it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's dangerous for them to approach it this way because you can in fact kill the organic watch time that people were already giving it.
Because if I'm a sponsor, I hear that this is the biggest event and it has one of the lowest watches time comparison to other stuff.
Here's your money. Oh shit, never mind.
Give it, you know what? I'm going to stay over here. Have fun with your events. I don't think it was worth sponsoring this event. Good luck in your future endeavors. Right?
Why would you say that?
Now, obviously, that is the worst case scenario. But I do think testing the waters on your biggest event is crazy.
I gotta get someone in here that knows about how sponsors would feel about that.
Well, it's a good thing because you'll never believe who I have on the line right now. Jason, come in here. Just joking. We don't have anyone. I'm so sorry.
All right, chat. I'm tired. Let's call it. Chat. My final thoughts. Street Fighter 6 will not die because of this event, nor will people stop supporting Street Fighter. I think the Capcom Cup organizers will be made fun of and ridiculed if people don't pay. But there's also the situation that people are not going to sign up for the pay-per-view at a spite, depending on the price. Hype, your turn.
I don't think Street Fighter is going to die. I don't think the Capcom series is going to die. However, I do think it's going to take a heavy hit, which will eventually be revived with Street Fighter 7 or a promise to a way of like fixing the situation. It's just my 2 cents. I think it'll be fine. It just sucks that they're testing it out on a big event. And when people
Best time to test.
And when people showed their concerns, their response was like, "We hear you." Anyways, like it's just okay.
It's really funny when you say it like that.
I hate when companies hear a loud outcry about something. And sure, I understand how some models you'll have to be like, we're gonna keep it. Unfortunately, that's just what we need for our business. I understand that. If your response just sounds good, I am so mad. But maybe that's just me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Are you upset?
I forgot to tell people.
Do you even care? Let us know. What'd you forget?
Be not data driven, content driven, and just saying at the beginning of the video, like a question. If you agree with this, you should leave a comment, right? Like the call to action. I
guess you're right. I always do say it at the end of the video. That's on me, guys.
You should really make sure to put in the beginning and say, hey, say this.
If you made it this far and you don't leave a comment, I'm looking at it. I'm going to check. I have no way to tell if you did it or not, but let us know what you think. But that's it for us for now. We hope to see you in the next one. And again, let us know what you think. Any ideas?
Do a giveaway?
Go.
We should do a giveaway soon. Eventually. Maybe. Not right now,
you heard it here first, but only if you made it this far. All right. Bye, everyone.